Well, we are back for some Bleach Soul Resonance, and we're going to be attempting to sort of guide you through this event challenge. I know this is giving people some difficulties, so I'm just going to give some hints, or rather like tips to get through this. You can do this with the full trial team. I'm doing this with the trial team. This is not a video about placing the highest. This is not a video about getting, 500,000, 600,000 points. This is just for you people out there who are having difficulty with this event, because there are a lot of rewards locked behind this. I mean, you really don't want to miss out on getting the bond characters for this, because they give a really nice bonus, as well as there's a bunch of corridor keys lying around. So all of these tips, all of these suggestions are going to essentially go through all of these various challenges. They all work the same way, which is, so let's just get right into it. So here we go, starting the run. And the run is going to be really simple. Your first instinct is going to be to actually fight the characters who are on screen. But as many of you know who have been doing this event is not about fighting the characters on screen. This event is about waiting for them to attack so that you can counter and one shot. So boom, boom, boom. And so I missed, and this is something that can happen. And this is why I'm saying this is not a run about getting 600,000. This is not a run about competing or getting on leaderboard. This is just a run about actually getting the rewards so that you can, move on with your time. As far as the event goes in terms of play, am I enjoying it? I would say I'm enjoying it, honestly. I think this is a really cool event. It's sort of it's a mix of speed run and boss event with tricky bosses, as well as a sort of puzzle mechanic, because you have to position the enemies so you don't end up in a position where I am right now. If I was going for 600,000, if I was going to be on the leaderboard, I would literally have just stopped this run. I would have stopped the run right there, right? There's no reason why I should be continuing with this run beyond just you shooting this video. So here we go, boom, gets insta-killed, and because we insta-killed him with the parry, we're just gonna sit here and wait. This is what this event is. This event is waiting for them to attack so that you can strike. And sometimes it happens like this. And if you get bad RNG like this, where you're just waiting and waiting and waiting for them to attack, then you end up in a position where, you have to wait and wait and wait. And here we go. We get one, boom, one shot. But he doesn't get hit by the cleanse, so now we have to wait again, right? This is the event. Do not waste your time using techniques and skills and ults and blah blah blah. Too much time. Just use the parry, kill them instantly, go on. So if you saw, I was using Aizen because his has a big AoE for this second stage. And by the way, I do suggest using the spirit team on the first area, just because I find Ulquiorra, who is the boss of this one, to be very difficult. So I like to have the spirit team for him. I've done this twice now, and that was the most solid for me. But yeah, you can see I'm using Byakuya's parry for this one. In this case, I don't really think it's necessary to line them up for the parry when it comes to this guy. I would just rather blitz them down, because again, we're not going for time. We're not going to be, the best. We're just trying to kill them. So we're just going to work the boss down, work down Dordoni over here, and, continue on with the actual fight. But yeah, this is the rotation. Rotate through your skills. I'm sure you've used a lot of these characters that are being used right now. You can tell, and you do actually see me use it there because I thought I could edge them out, but I miss. So I should have just switched into Ichigo and used his. Sad. But yeah, you can tell that they didn't want to overload the kits with a bunch of power, because even these 85s don't have their weapon stamps. I believe all the characters have their core stamps but not their weapon stamps. I could be wrong, but I think that is the case, because I don't have the core stamp on Aizen, and his is doing things I've never seen, and I do have the weapon stamp on Aizen, and he doesn't have the double Hado 90 switch out mechanic. So that seems to me to mean that we are not operating with, the fullest form of these characters. So yeah, you're gonna be switching out, boom, boom, boom. This fight would have been so easy. This entire run would be so easy if they gave us Bankai Ichigo, but they really wanted us to work for it. I can't believe they want us to fight Ulquiorra with with Shikai Ichigo and then have to fight Aizen after. I definitely get why people could be stopped by this. And if you just want to see the Aizen fight, you can skip. I'll put timestamps in the video, but I promise you, like, this is a scuffed run. This is 2 of my first attempts actually doing this, so I had never fought the Aizen before, and I get my ass beat, dude. I do. I get my ass beat so bad, but if I can do it, if you can see this scuffed run win, then certainly, you know, you guys can do it, right? Like, this is by no means a very well-placing run. Here we move on to floor 2. And you can see I took the option on the left. This is another one where it's a little finicky to get the actual, you know, instant kill. So I do kind of dance around for it a little bit. I think I messed, like, I essentially miss it. Yeah, see, I miss it. So sad. It's a really quick timing. And after I miss it, I just go, okay, I guess I'm just going to blitz him down. And I do think that's an okay, like, way to go about this, just to blitz the boss down in this case. But yeah, the actual, like, instant killing the characters is much easier when you have the sword guys around. I found the little attendants, the assistants, to be very annoying when it comes to this fight, because it feels like you're just trying to group up the, you know, you're rounding up these range characters and trying to account for space and the like. So yeah, I just decide, fuck it, we're just going to go all out and sort of blitz the attendants down with our actual damage. Again, I go back to trying to, like, maybe get a parry. I'm working for it. I'm fishing, but, and then here he comes. Boom. I've got him turned around. I don't really hit. I mistimed that one. Didn't really expect him to go from, I didn't expect him to go into Ravage and then, or, you know, Ryatsu break and then, like, do another parryable attack. I didn't expect that at all. Thought that was so odd. So yeah, we group them up here. Now we're starting to just blitz. Again, I'm not really thinking about actually doing that mechanic anymore. I'm just like, all right, let's bash him down with all of our damage, and let's not really worry about the mini game, as it were, that sort of exists in this area. We're trying to get max Kyogetsu here. Boom! Swipe him. I'm the one who stands among the heavens, or whatever this is called. 6 million for the big guy. That's pretty cool. Again, these are trial characters. You do not need any of these characters. These characters are provided for you, so go ahead and use those. I went out of my way to use the trial characters, but yeah, you can see using the invuln frames there with Hitsugaya to not have to worry about actually, you know, dodging or anything. Go right into the Bankai, and this should be finished up on this one. So, boom, boom. Nice and easy. Pretty good, pretty good. We move on to the Shikai Ichigo team, which is by far the weaker team here. We switch right into Byakuya, as I was doing before, and we play the waiting game. This is the game. Like, this is the event, essentially. If you really want to push, you just want to, you know, play. I position my camera there so it actually gets them. Boom. You can see that small camera position probably was the actual what mattered, and we move around and boom, we get that one, and now we just burst him down. And you can see that Shikai Ichigo team is dire. This is why I said that, like, and I put out a tier list video yesterday, and it's doing pretty well, so, you know, I'm excited there. I hope people, you know, I hope people don't take the tier list too seriously. I don't make meta breakdowns or tier lists so that people can be like, you know, this is what it is, and if you think this, you're an idiot. I never really think that. This is just my perspective. A lot of the reasons I make meta tier lists is just to say that, like, hey, if you have a chance to pull, you should pull for this character. Or, hey, if you know, maybe you wanted to get this character, but in all honesty, as a free-to-play, they just don't work how you think you would want them to work, right? So, yeah, that is just, like, my light breakdown, right? But all that to say is that I put Shikai Ichigo in, like, the sort of filler tab, because while he is useful, it is just so blatant how much worse he is for Slash than, like, you know, I want to think of like Ikaku, you know, and that's obvious. Ikaku's like an SSR, right? But Ikaku's considered one of the worst SSRs, and he is so fundamentally better than Shikai Ichigo that it's not even fucking close. Like, you really feel how much worse Shikai Ichigo is than this character. So yeah, you can see me working through. again, if you're watching this, you should feel like this is attainable. This is by no means a perfect run. And here we go, positioning around them, trying to get the parry, and boom, there it is right there, boom. And again, we just go back to bursting down. So not a bad floor 2 at all. You are going to see me get washed on floor 3 by Ulquiorra and Aizen. But all that is to say is that if you can watch me get washed by Ulquiorra and Aizen, then guess what? You can do it. You can do the fight. Easy. Easily you can do the fight. So here we go. Continuing to just work and work and work. Yep. Very good. Very good. Working them down one by one. And oh, look at that damage. So sad. I think another reason that Shika Ichigo felt particularly bad is because, like I said, I think they all had their core stamps, but they didn't all have their weapons. And I think the weapons for Shika Ichigo and just the SSRs in general feel particularly necessary. Like, I can't believe they wouldn't give him both as an SSR. Maybe I should have used my own. Like, somehow my level 60 Shika Ichigo might have actually been better than the one they provided for us just because he had the weapon and the core stamp. But yeah, this is really dire. Thankfully, like I said, as far as SSR or SRs go, rather, like I said this in the tier list, you will just through time accrue all of their stuff, and their ability will be much greater for it, right? Their ability will be much greater for it, and you won't have to worry about, why is my Shika Ichigo just putting out blanks, dog? So here I actually take the healing, because these are some really, like, the people who speedrun this will take the damage every time, obviously. I couldn't do it. Like, I'm just trying to get the completion. I'm not trying to place with anybody. I missed the parry there. I didn't expect him to open with it. Maybe he always does. I haven't fought him enough to know. But all of this is to say that as we go back to the video, like, I missed my dragon there. I get knocked out of it. So sad. But all this is to say is that if you're someone who's like, I just can't do it, look how bad my run goes. Like, genuinely look how bad this went. And we still get through Ulquiorra. We still get through Aizen. That is the thing I want to highlight super, super well. I could have grinded this hours and hours trying to get the perfect run with the trial teams. And, just to be like, hey, YouTube, if you play perfectly, you can get this score. But this is a realistic, like, first few attempts try at these characters, or at these fights. And I wanted to upload that because I want people to know that, if you're frustrated, if you're sort of getting stonewalled by, the mechanics check or what have you, don't worry about it. Like, this is, like, super attainable. Nothing here is, out of your reach. You can easily get these down. But yeah, you can see we're going 15 health bars left. Looking good so far. We're getting huge damage on with the boy. I will say that one bad thing I did probably here is, I'm trying to burn through and build Aizen's gauge, but what I should be doing is putting out Momo so that she can set up her buffs. You can see right now I have no insight charges right now, which is really bad. So I switch right into his. I don't even get the full one. Without Aizen's weapon, you really struggle to fill that gauge, I've found. It's interesting that they gave us his core stamp, but not his weapon. I wonder if that was just to make it harder, because his weapon is very powerful. We get the parry here, and we go into our go just so we can Bankai. I don't know why this graphical issue exists. I still haven't really found anything like on it. Maybe at some point I have to like scour the Reddit or something. Maybe someone's talked about it, but yeah, I've had this issue with Hitsugaya since his release, and I thought they maybe patch it. I've repaired the game twice, and it's just not being solved. So, boo-hoo, I guess, for me. I don't really mind it. It's not that big a deal. But yeah, I would like to see the cool animations, and none of the other animations seems to be bugged in this way. So I don't know. It would be nice to have that fixed in some way. Here comes Big Daddy, and this is where I think you're gonna have a lot of trouble, and this is where I really suggest having like the healing. Because if you're not ready for this fight, if you're not ready to really just crush this fight, this one is going to get dire. This was a hard 20 life bars. You can see I just get the parry there. I'm in such a rush to get the parry that I actually don't even switch into Ichigo. But, I mean, maybe that's not even a bad thing, because Ichigo just does not feel strong enough for this fight. If you have Bankai Ichigo, you know, you're going to do fine, but oof, missed. Got hit. Yeah, I forgot that's what he does, where he goes 1, 2, and then 3. You have to get him on the 3rd. But yeah, this was a dire one, but you can see the healing is just constantly setting us back up. The Hado number 90 doesn't do anything to us. We switch out, get a little HP back, but yeah, you can see how poorly this fight is going for us. You can see that this is not a pretty fight by any means. I get hit again by that 1, 2, 3 because I'm just not ready for it. We have had opportunities to fight Aizen in other game modes, but I just have not fought him enough that it's on my mind what he's doing at all times. Much like the Ulquiorra, there is just like a bit of screen fuzziness once you have a lot of these effects. So here we go, he goes again. Missed that one, first time I've seen it. There's a bit of screen fuzziness that is difficult to account for when you've got all these particles on the screen, and Aizen's, you know, creating clones of himself, and, you know, I guess not clones, but like, you know, these fading images of himself, these after images of himself, and, you know, being super saucy, but it's just like, damn, man. This is the 90 again. And we go into Bankai. But yeah, this is an ugly one. This is an ugly one. We've only got 4 of his bars down so far. We have not done any meaningful damage. Here we go. Pounding through with, and then we catch him on the switch and flash. That felt really good. That was the parry where I was like, okay, we've got this, we've got the rhythm down. Byakuya is torching him here. We switch out during that animation. By the way, you can cancel that animation, then you switch back into Ichigo and get the blade still. Please, if you are using Ichigo, be using his empowered technique into a swap. I think it is always correct. I don't know why you would not do this. So remember that you can switch out of Ichigo's empowered technique into a swap, do, you know, your buffing, switch back in, and still have the bonus blades. It's especially good if you have Shikai Ichigo's weapon, because weapon and core stamp, because then his ult adds the, and then here we go, we see it finally. There we go. Because if you have ult and, or the weapon and core stamp, you'll be able to create after images of the sword with your, your ultimate, which is really good and sort of makes up for any loss of uptime on the slashes. But yeah, maybe this is one of those things where if I took the 100% attack speed with Ichigo, he would just blazer through. So to anyone wondering like which of the skills you should take, which of the power-ups you should take, if anyone has like the sauce, go ahead and put it in the comment section. Be like, hey, the reason this went bad is because you just didn't have this thing, right? Yeah, go ahead and help people out, do what you gotta. But yeah, we're cooking now. We're motoring. We're starting to hit the brakes. We're starting to hit our ultimates. We're getting them in sequence. We're pairing when we need to. And you can see that's just what happens, right? 1 minute left to do 7 bars. And when you compare it to how we were moving earlier, you can tell that, you know, the earliest portion of this fight, it took, you know, however long to get 4 bars, and we're about to do 7 in no time at all. So that is just tribute to how quickly you can get things rolling. Don't give up on the run just because you have a bad earlier opener. I definitely had a bad opener. I'm having a bad moment right here, but you know, we catch the parries, bang, and we're almost unable to get. There we go. That's the damage we need. And we go in, we switch out, boom, boom, back to Ichigo, flip, and then we start wasting away with blades. There's the ultimate, pops him again. We get an ultimate here, and just one after another. It is devious, right? It is devious. Boom. And we call him there. So let's hop back in game and we can talk a little bit more. There we go. Last thing I want to say is that I went through the various events and picked up a bunch of the Jade currency. And, you know, now that we're sort of done, it has been a great event so far. I really enjoyed the, you know, daily stuff has been really good. There are a ton of great rewards in here, especially stamps have been, or the core stamp material has been in better excess than we've had. The actual like interlude bits here, I've really enjoyed this. This has a ton of currency in it, as well as if, you know, you don't have to like do any guesswork, you know, it essentially just shows you what other people have picked. If you don't remember the story too well, I had to do that for a few things because it's been 10 plus years since I've read and watched Bleach. And at least that portion of Bleach, so it has been a while. I still need to do the Challenge 3 Difficult 2, so literally this one again, but, you know, doing this one. And then that'll be all for the event, and we'll just be going through the motions again, waiting for gain, etc., etc. But yeah, hopefully that was enlightening to you to some degree. Hopefully that helps you. On leaderboard, you can see it wasn't like a, you know, great run or anything on... We actually are in the top 5% on the second one, and this is probably pretty low, yeah, 30%, so nothing doing there. But yeah, apparently our gain run here was not too shabby, so we'll take that. But with all that being said, though, like if you liked the video, subscribe to join the club, we all go make it, and peace.